Hey fellow creations, it's Elijah here with Holly Hill, and it's time for your weekly sermon preview. Take up your cross. What does that mean? What do people mean when they say to take up your cross? What do people think that it means? Well, I think a lot of people think taking up your cross is sort of a decorative thing, like it's a beautiful piece of jewelry, or it's a decoration to adorn your wall, or something like that. Yeah, a lot of people use the cross as a decoration or as an adornment, and they forget what its real meaning is. I'm not opposed to using the cross as a reminder, but when we don't recognize what it actually means, I think that's a problem. Take up your cross. I think other people might use take up your cross as this idea that, well, it's just my cross to bear. God has given me a really difficult situation in my life, and I just have to put up with it. Well, I don't think that's it either. I think we get to the heart of what it means to take up your cross when we look at what Jesus said in Luke chapter 9, verses 21 through 23. And in verse 23, he says, if anyone would come after me, or if anyone would follow me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow after me. See, Jesus says taking up our cross is the way that we follow after Jesus. But follow him in what? Now, I think this is the crucial part, because we always skip the verses directly preceding this, verses 21 and 22. Because in those verses, Jesus says where he's going, what he's about to do. He tells them, he says that the Son of Man is going to be betrayed and given over to the chief priests and killed, and on the third day rise again. So that's the context. Jesus says, if anyone would come after me, if anyone would follow me, he's talking about following him in his death and his resurrection. So if you want to join with him in a death to self, but then also a promise of a resurrection, then we have to deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow him. That's the way that we follow him. Because remember, here's what I want to get across this Sunday as part of our sermon, is that the cross is not simply the way that we're saved. And a lot of Christians think of the cross as the cross represents Jesus' sacrifice, the way that I'm saved. But the cross doesn't just represent the way that we're saved. It also represents the pattern by which we live our lives. Jesus died, was buried, and we rose, so we die, are buried, and we rise. We die to self. That's why he said, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. What is the cross? The cross is an instrument of death. It's something that was used to put to death murderers and people leading in rebellion. I mean, that's what we did, right? We led a rebellion against God when we committed sin in our lives. He said, take up your cross, deny yourself, and follow after me. So there's this beautiful idea of what the cross is, what it means to take up your cross. And that's what we're going to look at this upcoming Sunday. I want to look at 5 things that taking up your cross is, according to Luke chapter 9, verses 21 through 27 or so. About 5 things that Jesus says taking up our cross is. And then we'll examine ourselves and see if we are actually taking up our cross and following after Jesus. Because remember, taking up your cross, it's not just the way that we're saved. It's also the pattern by which we live our lives. We love you all, and we look forward to seeing you this upcoming Sunday, 10 a.m. for Bible class and 11 a.m. for worship at the Holly Hill Church of Christ here in Frankfort, Kentucky. Bye-bye.